Is Dubai going to be severely challenged by Saudi Arabia as a regional hub of trade, of business, of prosperity? I will give you my answer at the end of this video. Here is Marco Villenius, your travel futurist. When we look at the relationship between these two important states in this region, we need to look at first what happened with Dubai. Dubai was not more than a fishing village back in the 1960s. And after the independence of United Arab Emirates in the early 70s, Dubai, as one of these emirates that joined the forces, started to develop very actively. In fact, the way that they developed was, by any comparison, it was astounding. And it created itself to be what is currently global hub of tourism, transportation, and business. This is a terrific success story. Now, Saudi Arabia, slowly but surely, has been awakening also to the situation that there is an end to the oil era. There is an end to oil-related businesses. Now, Dubai, luckily, never got rich by pumping oil because they never had any of such amount of oil that would have made them rich. They needed to be innovative in how they build their prosperity. But Saudis, with all their money and all their resources, also want to take another step into the future, create themselves as to be something similar that the ambition of Dubai at the time brought them. Saudis want to build also very strong sector of tourism, and Saudis also want to be able to create this type of the business hub of the region. So in many ways, Saudis really want to take the Dubai position as the leader in terms of innovation, in terms of business, in terms of tourism. But it's very hard to take if you are not nimble enough. And what I mean by that is that you need to have a culture, you need to have a society, you need to have clear ambition built inside the society that if you want to change your society dramatically, you need to have your people with you. Now, in case of Saudi Arabia, we know it's very, very old-fashioned. It's not been many years since women were able to have their own driving license. There are many other issues involved in Saudi's current politics that still marks how heavily they are tied to their past. I'm not saying that you should forget your past. What I'm saying is that if you want your society to change, you need to enable and empower your people. Here in Dubai, for these years that I have been working here, what I have seen is that, for instance, a lot of women occupies a very important position in some of the businesses and in particular in governance. And they are fully entitled to do so. As we know, women are 50% of the population, roughly speaking. So we're talking about remarkable amount of workforce, of intellectual capital, of all kinds of resources. It was the experience already back in 100 years almost of some of the countries like my own Finland that you need to not only liberate women to have a similar rights as the men have, but also empower them in a very concrete way to do so. Unless you do that, you won't have the potential at your disposal of that country. Coming back to the issue that can Saudis compete with the Dubai, I think that cannot simply happen unless Saudis understand that they need to rejuvenate their own country. But once they are able to do that, then I would say that there is severe chances that they can really challenge the Dubai's position. But until that point, I don't believe so much of that. I believe that Saudis, yes, they want to change the society. Yes, they want to find other means of income besides oil, which currently comprises at least 2/3 of the national revenue, if not more, if you take into account all other impacts, including taxes and systems that are in place to support the oil business. So more or less everything evolves there still around the oil business. And they know that they need to divert from that. They need to have a larger portfolio. And of course, they have a huge amount of money to execute that because of all the oil wealth that has been created over the decades. But do they have the capacity? Do they have ambition? Do they have the spirit to do that? That is pretty much still to be seen, and is absolutely dependent on the way that how Saudi can rejuvenate their culture and their country in such a way that they enable the full potential of their people to take part of this journey into the era after oil. So at this stage, I don't believe that Saudi is ever gonna really be able to challenge Dubai as it is. However, if they do, they only do because they have been able to rejuvenate their own society. One of the examples of differences between the Dubai and Saudi Arabia is their relationship with climate change. Saudis, over the years and decades, have consistently resisted all kinds of regulatory measures when it comes to dealing with the climate change, which is absolutely necessary. We need to cut the emissions, we need to level the concentrations and bring them actually down. All that takes a lot of measures. Dubai has actually awakened very strongly to the climate change, to the extent that they are hosting the next conference of the party under United Nations Convention on Climate Change. That is one area where I see that there's a huge difference in terms of the thinking. This difference that Dubai and Saudis have to this very essential question about the future of humanity and the planet Earth shows that there is still a lot to do with Saudis' ways of looking at the world and seeing them as a part of contributing to the good instead of just looking out their own self-interest. Subscribe to my channel, share this video, and learn more about the future.